get going. Alright, what is going on YouTube? Dogao versus Mr.Yo in the second semifinals of History Hit. The winner of this set will match up against the winner of Viper versus Vilas. I'm not gonna spoil that because I know some people might want to check it out. So, let's take a look at the first game on Arabia. On the left side, we're gonna have Mr.Yo as Mayans in red. Down south, it is Dogao as Chinese in blue. So they go for the obvious civ picks here. I was suspecting Yo potentially going for Burgundians here, and both players had a lot of flexibility with their potential civilization choices for the maps available. But, well, it looks like we're just gonna see a good old-fashioned Chinese versus Mayans matchup over here. So, taking a look at the maps of the players, I kind of dislike the Gao's base for a large amount of reasons. This gold is quite at the front, the stone is also somewhat exposed, it's easy to wall off the right side, but the thing I dislike about Dogao's base is that there is just nothing at the back. No wood lines, no minerals, so I feel like if these walls don't work out, he's in serious trouble. And it's also gonna be very hard to contain damage if the opponent gets through the walls, because there's just nothing to wall to. You have to wall to the edge of the map here if you need to add the second layer of walls behind this one. So I kind of dislike the map here for Dogao. Other side, for Mr.Yo, his map is potentially even worse. Super open front, which is very, very rare on this map script. In general, this map script usually spawns pretty close to Arabia generations, so easy wallability, a lot of wood lines. This is not really the case here for Mr.Yo. Forward berries, forward stone as well, and a lot of opening here. Right side is relatively easy to wall, so is the left side, but this forward place is just so hard to protect. His gold mine is alright, but that's the only positive I can say about this one. Maybe the fact that he has some backup food lines here is nice. Neither of the players have amazing maps, I'm not gonna lie here. So, looks like Dogao is gonna play 4 on wood here with Chinese. It's very possible that we are going to see a Drush Fast Castle from him. In 2v2 tournaments, this is what Dogao loves to do the most. So, when he plays 2v2 with Miguel, Miguel is usually the scouts player, and he's responsible for sort of just occupying the two opponents, sort of absorbing some damage. Whereas Dogao is just gonna play a Drush Fast Castle, oftentimes with Ethiopians or Chinese, and just gonna go for the crossbow and snowball the game out. He's very, very good with the archer play and this Drush Fast Castle build. We will see if he goes for that. So, speaking of Drushes, there is Mr.Yo with what will be a premium Drush here from him. So far, he's pushing in deer as well. Considering that he's pushing this much deer, makes me wonder if he wants to go for a Drush Fast Castle as well. Because at this point, that seems to be the most likely possibility. Dogao saw the gold miner, so Dogao knows it's a Drush. You see a gold miner at this stage of the game, you know exactly it's a premium Drush. So Dogao trying to steal some herdables here from Yo. Yo reacts very nicely, so no herdables get taken away from our red player. Anyway, second board is in for Dogao. Dogao did not push in more than one deer, that's for sure, as currently he's trying to disrupt that eagle. The eagle is stronger than the scout, so Dogao can't kill that eagle, but he can try delaying this one, and for now, he's just gonna scout around, see the barracks. Let's see if there's any militias coming out for Yo, because Yo might change his mind on the Drush now that he knows his opponent has seen it, and I think that's the case. Yo could go for the militias, but he's not doing it right now. So he probably was like, okay, Dogao saw that I'm going for a Drush, I'm just gonna completely cancel that, because there is no point for me going for a Drush here, knowing that Dogao already knows about that, and he's probably walling his villagers on the berries and such. Reality is that Dogao didn't really do much to prevent any kind of Drush from happening, but that is because he has scouted this barracks and has seen that nothing is coming out of that. He himself is going to go for his own Drush, but that is probably something that will be scouted by Mr.Yo as well. Yo is already going for some big walls. That is a sign that he probably wants to play Fast Castle, and at this pace, it's possible Yo is just gonna play naked Fast Castle. Especially if Dogao plays Drush FC, it's very possible that naked Fast Castle could work. The unlucky thing here, or the disappointing thing here for Mr.Yo is that Dogao is not going for a Drush Fast Castle. Dogao is going for towers. Look at this. Yo has to invest a huge amount of wood in his walls, and Dogao, with the barracks up, I feel like, since this is a pretty fast feudal age, and he's on gold, I feel like this is just gonna be straight archers, but this could have been men-at-arms. And if it was men-at-arms, he could have gone for tower. A tower here would be able to deny the berries from Yo, and Yo already has a pretty stretched out economy because he's investing a lot of wood into the palisades over here. So I feel like Yo would struggle defending against the tower rush here pretty badly. But we will see about that one. For the time being, Yo gets away with all those walls, but obviously that's gonna make his eco much, much weaker. So 26 vills. Considering this much walling, I feel like he probably wants to go up at like 28 or so. Range coming in here by Dogao. I think Dogao could easily punish this. With, like, there is multiple ways he can punish this. For example, Yo won't be able to protect this wall, that's the thing. This is way too ambitious. I understand that this is the most efficient from the perspective that this is probably the shortest wall that you can make to protect your right side, but it's still a massive investment, and it's so far away that once these villagers are gone, if Dogao has like 3 scouts here, he can get through that wall before Yo has the time to get a repair villager in here. So I just simply believe that this is way too exposed, and, you know, Mr.Yo wouldn't have the chance to protect it. Now the problem for Dogao is that he's just playing standard archers here, and despite the fact that I massively dislike Mr.Yo's game plan, it's working out because Dogao is not punishing him for it at all. And at this pace, Yo is gonna have no trouble with a naked fast castle into just crossbows most likely. Although, if he sees archers from Dogao, you can even make a case for eagles. It would be an interesting idea to go straight eagles, but remember that Castle Age eagles would smash Dogao in the face, who is still in feudal age. So that could be an interesting thing to think about. Looking at Mr.Yo, he still has his eagle somewhere. It's right over here. Let's see if he sees the range. He did not see the range. In fact, he's just now scouting Dogao's base. See what's up. He finds a villager, but he won't be able to kill that vill with a feudal age eagle against Loom. And now the archers are coming in. Yo is gonna have to be careful because he needs to finish these buildings to be able to click up, and he's gonna go for the standard approach of just archers. This is the moment where Dogao has to understand that, okay, my opponent will get up to Castle Age much faster than I am, so I need to do something to prevent the early crossbows from breaking into my base. And that's something that Dogao has to keep in mind. Let's see if the eagle from Yo here is gonna take the fight. Might be able to finish the vill, actually. The eagle got the first hit in, and at this point it's all about keeping that wall open. Yeah, that eagle is getting the fight. The eagle is winning the fight, and that is one villager down here from Dogao, and what's even worse is that his walls are gonna be open. Now, since Yo went up at 27 villagers, and he's got the cheaper archers, he's gonna be able to afford not only a single range archer production, but double range archer production over here. So he's gonna have a lot more crossbows than it's normal with, let's say, a Drush Fast Castle build. So you see, it's at the end, 29 villagers up for him. Had some idle time on the TC, but not massive. Some idle time is there for Dogao as well, but he was Chinese, so that's alright. One thing I don't like for Dogao here, though, is the eco efficiency. 69% only, and he's got a lot of idols here. Not sure what happened. Did he drop? No, he didn't drop. Every time I see this many idols for a pro player, I think that he's dropping, because I just thought that, you know, you wouldn't have this much idle time for them. But it looks like Dogao is still in here among us, and that just means that he is unable to address these eco issues as fast as it's needed. It's down to 67% eco efficiency, and at this point I feel like Yo could punish that really easily. Dogao is also going for these huge walls here. I like that the front of Dogao's walls are all houses or production buildings or blacksmith, because this means that the crossbows can't break through here, so the most vulnerable area, the gold mine, is probably protected, or at least to a certain extent. Dogao might need a defensive tower here because the crossbows are heading towards that gold mine, potentially. The right side is still open, by the way. And I think it's very lucky for Dogao that Yo hasn't seen this gold mine, because had Yo seen it, Yo would be hitting that gold mine with the crossbows right now. Dogao is pursuing with his archers, as Dogao does have a slight arch number advantage over here, but these will be crossbows in a moment for Yo. He doesn't have Botkin arrow though, so that's gonna slow his push down over here for the time being. He's gonna add a second TC, no forward siege workshop just yet. He just wants to sort of play this passive-aggressive stance, where it's like, he's the one applying pressure, but he wants to boom behind this one. And you see that Dogao is just now clicking up to Castle Age. He takes the hill, that's a nice move from him, and that evens things out. In fact, he smashes Yo's army in the face here. There was like one archer lost for free crossbowmen. There's a couple more crossbows coming in here. Now they have the hill, so Dogao has to be careful. As long as there is no Botkin or those archers can perform decently. No defense upgrades for either player just yet. Dogao for now is more than happy that he's not dying to those crossbows. Although at this pace that could soon change, because if those archers venture too far away, Yo could just turn back and hit the wood line. Yo doesn't need to pursue this army. At this point, I think Yo is pursuing because he knows that Dogao is going up, so he wants to destroy that army before Dogao has the chance to get them upgraded to crossbowmen. And now Yo is gonna keep one crossbow behind that wood line, or at least he should. Yes, that's exactly what he's doing. He's pursuing this army over here, and he's gonna try hitting the back of this wood line, do some harassment. That being said, he still doesn't have a huge amount of crossbows here. He's making a battering ram. Since Dogao is feudal age, that's perfectly fine, because a battering ram cannot be taken down by the archers easily, and it would destroy the ranges pretty easily as well. The problem that he's facing is that he doesn't have a huge amount of crossbows here to fight with, and I feel like the 13 archers I see on Dogao is just better than the 5 crossbows over here. There's a couple more crossbows coming in, but I just feel like Yo needs to group his army up a little bit more, because otherwise his individual groups of crossbows will get picked off by the archers, and now that the archers have +1 defense, they actually perform really well against the crossbows that are lacking Botkin. Defensive siege workshop for Dogao immediately for Mangonels, and I feel like Yo didn't get anything out of his Castle Age advantage. I would dare to say that he actually is in a worse position than he could have been if he just, you know, waits and groups his army up. Mangonel now coming in though, as look at this move from Dogao, that's very smart. The moment the crossbows are not there to protect the ram, he's gonna jump out to the villagers and take down the ram. Very, very smart over there. Now, the Mangonel is coming in, but the ram is gonna go down. So, there is an advantage over there for Dogao from that fight. Still, one of the ranges is heavily damaged, and the Mangonel might be able to finish it off. We have a Mangonel coming in from Dogao, but this range is heavily damaged. It's one more shot, and it's gonna go down. Which means that Dogao's production is gonna be a lot worse than Yo's one. Yo coming in with a Mangonel, takes the shot on the villager. Dogao's ground attack did not connect. Behind this one, however, Yo is on free TCs. That's the big thing here. Now, can he afford to produce on free TCs? Heck no. He's at 14 on food. But he most definitely has more villagers than Dogao by 9. Plus, if you consider the fact that the Mayan archers are also cheaper, that's a very, very nice combination for Yo, who apparently stopped making crossbows even. So, let's see what the next step is. He might be thinking about adding villagers to stone for plumed archers, but as things stand, it looks like he is just idling those ranges. I'm not sure if it's intentional or not, because it kind of feels intentional. I don't think that Yo would make a big mistake of idling it for this long, but I may have been wrong, because apparently now he restarts crossbow production. He still can't afford Botkin arrow, but that's because he's spending all his food on additional villagers. Dogao with TC number 2 coming in for him as well. So, let's see, crossbows now knocking on the walls. As I said, these walls are really hard to protect here for Mr. Yo. That being said, there is a defensive TC over here. This area is still wide open. Now it's Botkin Arrow. So better late than never. Yo is gonna click Botkin Arrow. I think he might want to sandwich that army in there. So he comes in from this side with the Mangonels and the crossbows. We'll have a second Mangonel coming around. As now he's gonna start adding the combat upgrades. So far he neglected them because he didn't feel threatened by Dogao. So he could just focus on his economy. And the moment he sees Dogao starting to push, he is gonna start adding the upgrades himself. The repair villager is coming in to repair the Mangonel. I don't think that Dogao has the chance to save that army. There's a Mangonel coming in. That's gonna take a shot, and it's gonna be a 1-for-0 here for Yo. Very nicely done. Beautiful cleanup here in general by Mr.Yo. Meanwhile, there is a Mangonel pushing through the middle of the map as well for Dogao. A single Eagle Scout would destroy that, but the better choice here could have been a Mangonel for Mr.Yo. It's gonna be a 1-for-1 here at the end. Still, 15 villagers advantage right now for Yo, getting Heavy Plow and Boso in as well. Remember, Dogao is only one range right now in terms of production, as he's starting to switch into cavalry here. Now, I feel like at this point, if Dogao goes for cavalry, Yo just needs to keep pumping out crossbows, and Dogao won't be able to fight that. The problem is that Yo's production is very, very inconsistent here. It feels like Yo just wants to go for a full boom and make as minimal army as possible. Feels weird, but that seems to be the case. That being said, he's at a 7 villagers advantage, plus he has Wheelbarrow as well, something that Dogao is just now finishing. But Dogao could easily punish Mr.Yo for such a greedy approach, especially if it starts by picking off that villager. That monastery is probably made to just collect relics because Yo has a siege workshop and the university for the 2 buildings he needs for Imperial. Speaking of Imperial, he's getting close to that and he's actually mining stone. So I can see him just try and get to Imperial, get to Arbalest, and then go for a forward castle as well. Bloodlines being teched into by Dogao, excuse me, and Mr.Yo gets the delete trick over here, takes down the Mangonel with the damaged one of his own. So far, Yo has killed 3 villagers. Dogao has not found a single villager kill yet. Part of that is that he doesn't have ballistics. Speaking of ballistics, Yo also has not gotten ballistics here, despite the fact that he made a university. So, as I said, it really feels like Yo is committing as little to military in terms of resources as possible. Little upgrades, little numbers. You see a lot of idle time on these. I don't think that this is just a random thing that Dogao or Yo cannot pay attention to. I feel like this is intentional. He's trying to get up to Imperial, and that's going to be a little difficult with only 9 villagers on gold, but he wants to start adding plumed archers most likely, so he's going to boom up to Imperial. He's got a 23 villagers lead, and he's going to click up to Imperial now, so he's still in a better position than Dogao is, has a 1000 score lead. So, Imperial Age on the way, and now is the time you start adding a lot more crossbows. Because, okay, you wanted to go for the crossbowman play, but wanted to get up the Imperial early. Now that you clicked up, you can start going for it, but oh no, Eagles! Again! What's up with people with Eagles today on Mayans? I mean, I understand the concept, but Dogao is actually taking into cavalry right now. Now, Mr.Yo, I don't think he knows that, but the problem is that he's in Imperial in 2 minutes, and is he gonna have good ego numbers in 2 minutes with good upgrades? No, that's the problem, so he's sort of wasting his Imperial Age advantage. I feel like if he just keeps adding crossbows and goes up to like 30 arbs, he could go up to 30 arbs right now. 30 arbs would steamroll everything here. You get 30 arbs, you get a forward castle in here, and you win the game. And instead we are messing around with eagles. Now, this eagle is actually a very nice touch over here because the mangonels are very much exposed to the eagle. There is one mangonel that's going to go down. 2 of them are heavily damaged, so the eagle could find those as well. But, well, knights slaughtering all the crossbows over here. Pikemen. Pikemen. Okay. I guess. Dogao is mining stone, by the way, so Dogao can very easily castle drop Mr.Yo if Mr.Yo doesn't have an army here. And Mr.Yo doesn't seem to have army. He's got free army. Have I mentioned that if he just keeps adding archers, he would still have a reasonable army? In fact, throughout the entire game, I believe that Mr.Yo went for a super greedy approach. Like, he barely made army. I really felt like the only reason why he was making army is because Dogao was making some himself. Here's the castle, so I guess it's gonna be plumed archers then. But see, he's in Imperial and he's getting absolutely no advantage from it. That's the problem for Yo here, and this shouldn't have been the case. When you play Mayans, I feel like one of the biggest power spikes that you can have is that you have a big ball of archers, and you just get that early Imperial Age and you will have a very nice group of Arbalests. You can tech switch after, but you want that early power spike. Because currently the problem for Yo is that he's in Imperial, yet he's unable to do anything with it because he doesn't have the units for it. He's teching into Halberdier right now. So far, Dogao is unable to break into Yo's base. That being said, Yo still has a massive lead here. I just feel like this could have been done slightly differently here for him. So far, Dogao has killed 4 villagers, but he's losing a lot of knights here to the castle fire, so I'm really unsure if this is worth it for him. And for Yo, it looks like there's no plumed archers coming in. Mayans do have access to siege rams, so this could be a Halberdier siege ram push, but that's something that Chinese won't be very disappointed about, because they have Chukonu to stop this. So the Halberdiers right now are just a reaction to the knights, but Yo is gonna need some siege weapons. Yo is gonna need some power units aside from Halberdiers. Plumed archers would work perfectly, and there's a second castle coming in, but Yo is very far away from plumed archers right now. The castle here is a little dubious, I have to say. Nice ground attacks by Dogao, but many of those knights will fall to the Halberdiers. Those knights have bloodlines +1/+2, so decent upgrades. The infantry has +1/+4 as well, and they're Halberdiers, so that's gonna be a reasonable fight for the Hubs still. Some knights coming over once again from Dogao. Yo is still lacking military numbers severely, as Yo is trying to target a high HP knight here for conversion. He's getting one. He gets one knight converted. The wolf and the knight also joins the party. So these knights from Dogao will just all go down. Dogao is probably too busy microing this. Mangonel is getting some nice ground attacks in there, and the castle will clean up the rest. So what now for Mr.Yo? He currently has a majestic army of 1 knight, 9 halberdiers, and a monk. Not necessarily something I would call ideal. He is currently on 0 relics. There's going to be the first one for him. There's a relic already for Dogao as well. And that's going to be a beautiful castle by Yo. Protects this stone and allows you to contest this stone mine over here. Dogao on the way to Imperial right now. He needs to keep this castle alive. It's a crucial castle in front of that gold mine. As we have a lot of Mangonels marching through the map. Now you could make a case for Eagle once again, because we're not seeing a lot of knights in the party anymore. Plus you have good upgrades for your infantry, so might as well go for Eagles. Although I feel like plumed archers being mixed in would also be very helpful here. For Mr.Yo, takes down one of the Mangonels. Looks like we will have an archer switch here. Now for Dogao, that's gonna help with the Eagle play. For Mr.Yo, Von Treb is apparently very exposed here to the knights. A little careless from Yo to just let that one get killed like that. But, well, Yo doesn't have an army still. As I said, I think he wasted his Imperial Age advantage quite heavily here. Still, he's in the driver's seat, as he's gonna have a castle at key positions, pretty much controlling the left side of the map. Right side currently is still open, but once he gets to a decent amount of elite eagles, and oh boy, it's elite skirm. Yo just needs a decent group of eagles and he can destroy everything here. Because the Cavalier don't perform really good against Eldorado eagles either. So if he gets the Eldorado upgrade and gets a couple of eagles out, then it's going to be really difficult for Dogao to stop this one. Chukonu would actually do pretty decently, but you just don't have enough Chukonu here right now for Dogao. And Yo is going for another castle drop. That's a super aggressive castle, and I don't think that Dogao has the army to stop that. Looks like Dogao is probably gonna keep that castle alive if the knights can snipe the traps over here. One trap goes down, one knight gets converted just in time. Dogao still has enough stone to repair that castle, so that castle stays up, and it's very important for the Chukonu production. Elite Eagle Warrior coming in for Mr.Yo, as he's gonna get the Eldorado upgrade when he can afford it. It's a very expensive upgrade, so it's gonna take some time until he can get that. Dogao's eco on the left side, however, is now wide open, and what Yo needs is 5 barracks here to run into Dogao's eco with the raids. Dogao is stacking into Cavalier, but as I said, Cavalier will be insufficient against Eldorado Eagles. They work nicely against standard Eagles, but not Eldorado. You're getting guilds pretty early on, so he thinks that this game could go long, and he wants to use the market as efficiently as possible. Another castle comes in here for Yo. This could be a massive one if it goes up, because this denies 2 gold mines from Dogao and secures 1 for Yo. That could be an enormous castle right there. There's Eldorado, 40 Eagle Warriors, making them fully upgraded, 100 HP, 9+4, and 8 Pierce Armor overall. Let's see if Dogao sees that castle. Yes, he does. The Knights are heading that way. Yo so far not reacting. No reaction, no reaction. That is not going up. Yo didn't realize that the Cavaliers were heading that way, and he's gonna lose the villagers. Cavaliers are still in here, so he's gonna try making this happen, but the skirmishers are converging on this one. I think this castle is a failure. And now Dogao is the one trapping down the castle in the middle. But now that Dogao has moved all his army to the right side to stop this castle, Yo can dive in with the Eagles, and that's gonna be 3 traps being lost for Dogao. Very, very expensive right there. So, I think it was actually good for Yo that he tried this castle here, just because it distracted Dogao and forced him to move here, and that allows Yo to dive in the middle and snipe all those traps. Left side, it's wide open for raiding. A couple of plumed archers, couple of eagles running in here would smash Dogao's eco very, very nicely. And out of the Cavalier on the left side, in fact, they get overrun by the Eagles. The Eagles on the right side can clean up Dogao. And once again, Eldorado Eagles show that they can be really powerful. Eldorado Eagles actually trade very well against Cavalier. Not in even numbers, but in even resources, they do very, very well against the Cavalier. So, Dogao taps out from this one, and we have a 1-game lead right now for Mr.Yo. So, let's go back to the lobby over here. I'm gonna add the score to Mr.Yo. Where is that? As he takes the win with Mayans, both players using up their first overall draft picks in this one. So, it's not if it was just me, getting tired and also was looking on checking out the draft. Alright, so Yo takes game number 1. Now we're going to one of the home maps of Dogao over here. The home maps of Dogao are Mediterranean and Lowland. So for Mediterranean, I think Yo would go Byzantines. And what is Dogao going for? Probably Japanese. I feel like I like Byzantines more than Japanese over there. And the other home map for Dogao would be Lowland, where what would the Dogao go for on Lowland? Probably Berbers? Or maybe Huns. Those are 2 reasonable civ picks there, now that he has Chinese gone. And for Lowland, I think Yo would go something maybe like Khmer or Franks. It's possible we're gonna see Burgundians on Lowland even. Alright, so let's see if we have the game up or not. Not yet, so we're waiting for the players to start the game. It's gonna be a couple moments of downtime. As I said, I think we're gonna be a little late with the Rage Forest Tourney Grand Finals. Probably not that much, because, I mean, there is going to be a lot of time spent on drafting and setting up the teams and stuff like that. So I feel like we're not gonna be that much behind in the Rage Forest Tourney, or at least I hope so. Okay, we're going to Mediterranean according to the caster Discord, and indeed, off we go. So let's jump straight into the next game. So, welcome everybody to Mediterranean. We have a deserty theme over here, and two players on the direct opposite side of a very, very long but pretty narrow patch of water. We will have down south Japanese for Dogao in blue and Byzantines for Yo in red. Sort of expected civilizations for this one. So I kind of feel like in this civilization matchup, I like Byzantines a lot more. Their fire galleys give them much more momentum on the water. And yes, Japanese fishing ships are harder to kill, but it doesn't really matter if you don't have any navy to protect them. The Byzantines can use the Imperial power spikes a lot better, and in terms of unit composition, both of these are archer-focused civilizations with fully upgraded Arabs and elite skirms. But obviously, Byzantines get discount on the skirmishers. And when it comes to cavalry, the Byzantines will have access to the cataphracts, and a cataphract should be able to destroy everything that the Japanese have infantry-wise. So the halberdiers won't work, and I think the samurai don't work that well either. Samurai work to a certain extent, because I think we discussed this one of the last times, that the cataphracts don't take some of the bonus damage that are anti-cavalry. But the samurai are not causing anti-cavalry bonus damage, but anti-unique unit bonus damage. So samurai should still trade pretty well against cataphracts, but also it depends on whether or not the cataphracts have logistica. Because if they have logistica and aerial damage, they should still be able to beat the samurai. So I think I like the civilization of Mr.Yo here a lot better. That's just something I wanted to say over here. So, let's see what we got for Mr.Yo. He's gonna bring in the first board right now. 4 on wood, no surprise about that one. And same thing for Dogao. He, with the cheaper lumber camp, can afford to dock a little earlier, so that's why we're already seeing a villager out here. Whereas on the other side, we have no villager just yet for Yo. This guy, or well, this lady, is gonna go for a dock right here. So in comes the scout of Mr. Dogao, and he's looking for a villager snipe. That's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen at all, and that just means that we will have super safe fishing for both players in Dark Age. This map itself is also quite repetitive, so one of the reasons why I don't like Mediterranean is because it's a very repetitive map. So you always do the same thing with these galley rushes, and this is purely about execution. There is not a lot of strategy involved in this one. You just do the exact same build order for pretty much every civilization, except some minor changes for civs that have certain bonuses. And you're just gonna do fire galleys, pull back the weak ones, repair them, try to get some nice demo hits that hits multiple ships, and just try to grind down your opponent's fire galley numbers. So, a little off board kill over here for Mr. It wasn't ideal. He probably wanted it to be a little closer to his TC. Not the end of the world, but not necessarily ideal either. Anyways, right now it's one fishing ship for Yo. There's already a second one in and a third one. Oh. What does BL mean? Bad luck? Did he... Oh, the trash talk! The trash talk! This is why we love spec chat. I was like, what's happening? There was a scout fight, and Doga was probably like, bad luck. I mean, these two players are very I'm not gonna say friends, but I mean, they are having very good relations to each other. So this is pure trash talk. It's like, okay, there's a scout fight, bad luck for you. Yo is like, die! And then Doga was like, no, dead. This is pure trash talk. Don't take it seriously, guys. Don't take it seriously. It's not like they hate each other. In fact, I am fairly certain they have very good relations. But I gotta love the trash talk between the two players over here. Oh. My favorite part is Mr.Yo is like, die. Oh, gotta love it. Gotta love it. So, for now, it looks like Feudal Age timings will be dead even. This is the things that we're missing on with Spec Chat, by the way. We didn't have Spectator Chat for pretty much 2 years of Definitive Edition. Imagine if we had these in all tournaments, and the guy was like, I miss marking the wolves. By the way, this is not how you spell wolves, but that's not a big deal. And you're always saying the same thing. So what he's talking about is that back in the days of Age of Empires, you could place a palisade wall tile on top of a wolf. I'm trying to find a wolf. He was like, I need that more than ever. So basically, if you place the palisade wall tile on a wolf, then if the wolf moves away, you can see through the fog of war. That's no longer a case because they removed this sort of palisade scanning trick. Dogao was trying to poke down the scout of the opponent over here, but yep, back in the days you could scan for enemy movement by adding a palisade tile on wolves. I don't think there's any wolves on this map, so I can't show you what I mean by that. Anyways, triple dogs for both players over here. They're not messing around. Looking at the sheep count, we still have free sheep for Mr.Yo. Dogao also has free sheep. And the reason why that is the case is because there are some neutral sheep in the outside rim of the map scattered around. So you can try to grab a couple of those, and this is why keeping that scout alive for Dogao is actually very, very helpful. Because he can find some additional sheep, and that means that he can delay his farm transition. As I said, this map is very repetitive. It's just fire galleys, fire galleys, fire galleys all day. And looks like Dogao is actually winning water. Now, both of these players are known to be very good water players. As Yo probably acknowledges that he would lose that fire galley, so he's gonna try and snipe that demo. In comes a 1-for-1 for demos. And I did mention this multiple times when we look at these fire galley fights. It doesn't matter if you take damage. What matters is not to lose the ship itself. And that's so far going better for Dogao. He's got a 2-0 KD, found some extra sheep as well. And that extra sheep helps a lot, as I said. The fact that he doesn't need to add farms means that, you know, he can spend more wood on ships or just send the villagers elsewhere from wood. I mean, not all of them, but he doesn't need as many villagers on wood to just maintain the same food eco as his opponent. Potentially, repair villager here might be enough. So far, it looks like it's a relatively even fight on water. That's actually going to be a nice bait from Dogao. Yo is going to lose another ship here. Demo is coming in. The demo is heavily damaged though, so it's going to end up being a very, very underwhelming hit. It looks like Yo is going to have to pull that fire galley back for a time being as well. Still, the fact that Dogao has so much sheep available is going to help immensely. Both players now going for the mill with the berries. And despite the fact that you have better fire galleys for Byzantines here, Mr.Yo is struggling to maintain control over water. And that helps Dogao, who has 4 fishing ships as opposed to 3. Now here comes a demo, and this could be massive. This could be massive. Nice splits there from Dogao. So he keeps most of his fire galleys alive, and yeah, now Yo is in trouble. Yo is in serious trouble here. He's about to lose another fire galley in this one. And I feel like unless he lands a huge demo hit, this thing is gonna spiral out of control because he's losing the majority of his navy. Big demo hit over there though, that's gonna help sinking the fleet of Dogao. So while it's still not ideal for Mr.Yo, it manages to at least even things out a tiny bit, buy himself a little more time. Still, it's looking grim for him, especially if you look at the food count of Mr. Dogao here. Already at 400 food and 128 goats. Is getting close to clicking up the castle age, whereas for Mr.Yo, that's just not the case. And you see he has to tech into horse color, and he's gonna have to start adding farms. Whereas for Dogao, he can just keep consuming the sheep he still has. That's the beauty of finding the extra sheep here on Mediterranean. Now, the temporary Navy advantage here could be in the hands of Yo and Dogao. Almost sniping the repair villager over there, fails to accomplish that goal, and that demo actually goes into the waste bucket for the time being. But I think soon Dogao is gonna click up, and I'm not exactly sure what Yo is gonna be able to do in that case. There's a demo coming in. The demo actually getting a pretty decent hit. It damaged multiple ships, including some fishing ships. It didn't manage to finish off the fishing ships, but it did some damage to them, so that's actually helpful here for Mr.Yo. Big fire galley fight in the middle. Remember that these Byzantine fire galleys are still better, so as long as there's no demos here, Dogao has to be careful with this. Nice micro by Mr.Yo. Keeps the weak ships away, and there's a demo raft coming in as well. Dogao suddenly gets forced back on water, and that could be devastating for him, because Byzantines grabbing an advantage on water could be massive. That demo goes into the waste as well, but another demo is coming in. Dogao, stop making ships. Dogao, stop making ships, and here's a big demo here, sinking the remains of his fleet. This is getting worse and worse for Dogao. Now, Yo is focused on microing his own stuff, so he didn't repair the fire galleys. Because of that, Dogao still has quite a lot of fire galleys over here that can potentially take a fight. One of the ships here for Dogao are pretty weak, and once again, I think Dogao is doing a better job keeping his weak ships alive. You see that the KD so far is dead even. But we have Castle Age on the way for Dogao, not for Mr.Yo. This demo could be huge! This demo could be huge, and indeed it is. Sinks 2 and damages 1 very, very heavily. So, here comes some more demos, though. This is something that Yo doesn't want to have. Just bait the demo with one of the stronger fire galleys and send the rest back to heal. So far, we still have 4 fishing ships that also work faster for Japanese, and only 3 for Byzantines over here. And they are taking a shorefish, and shorefish is much slower for fishing ships than deep fish is, so that's actually a lot more inefficient for Mr.Yo. That demo actually gets a nice connection in. Yo is just about to click up to Castle Age. Dogao's gonna have a massive head start over here. And behind this one, ooh, Dogao is already making archers. I didn't even see that. That's gonna make things even more interesting. So, as things stand, Dogao is probably gonna be able to secure the water with just better technology, and he should play this one patient. He shouldn't show the archers just yet, because this is somewhat unexpected that you see archers this early. Usually, it starts to become a thing when one starts to lose water, which is like right now, as Dogao is getting forced back. Dogao could lose his entire navy just before getting up to Castle Age. That would be a disaster. That would be an absolute disaster, and he's sacrificing his fishing eco to keep his navy intact. And you see, in the moment Yo sees Dogao lose the water, he's gonna start walling. Can he wall this in time? Dogao is trying to play this one patient. Maybe Yo started walling a little too late. And these small things can decide the outcome of games. If he starts walling 20 seconds faster, these crossbows bump into a wall, and now it's a disaster for Yo. Massive migration with his villagers, because he was completely unprepared to handle those soon-to-be crossbows with Botkin arrow. Oh my goodness. That's a problem for Yo. He was so close yet so far. Now you see, Dogao is gonna be more than happy with just denying the gold mine here with the crossbowmen. No villagers were killed so far, so that's actually an advantage. But you see, Dogao is making the siege workshop inside this wall foundation, because he knows exactly that Yo wants to just keep himself out here through this narrow crossing. Now, Yo managed to pretty much contain this damage for the time being, and truth being told, he is still sort of controlling water. But he's gonna need a defensive siege workshop against this one, and he's off from gold for some time, so things are far from ideal right now. The demo here is actually gonna get a pretty decent connection, and it's just fire galley numbers right now that are winning this so far for Yo on the water. There's a demo ship coming in. That's gonna be very underwhelming as a hit. It only hit one ship in here, but Yo himself will need the war galley upgrade, but he's too busy because he has to make mangonels here to defend with. Ecos are still dead even though, as Dogao is gonna start pushing that gold mine with mangonels. Even lames the huntables from his opponent here. No war galley upgrade still for Mr.Yo. That's something that is gonna be an extremely important thing for him to grab if he ever wants to secure water, because it's pretty obvious that Dogao wants water. He has gone for the War Galley upgrade. So far, both players with 1 TC. But cleaning this one up is going to be painful for Mr.Yo, and he's probably best in a position to just go for this gold mine. Look at this walls, by the way, from Yo. He could easily wall off the left side and just use these gold mines. This gold mine is like half depleted, and it's not urgent for him to get that back. On the other hand, he's now losing water. And that's a considerable problem. Here comes a manganol. Yo will try to target the manganol of Dogao here. Nice ground attack by Dogao. Didn't take a single bit of damage from that manganol and takes down one from his opponent. Heavy plow for 6 farms feels a little excessive, Mr.Yo, I have to say. Dogao with the second TC up. Dogao is now controlling the water, sort of, but no one has fishing eco, so honestly no one cares about who is controlling the water right now. Because at this point, no one is doing any kind of fishing operations on it, and we don't have any warships that would be impacting land gameplay. So currently it's like, Dogao is controlling water, congratulations, but it's not gonna matter, right? Crossbow's now breaking in here. Manganol will try to take the shot. Misses the target, but there is no way that Dogao pushes through here. Yeah, I understand that heavy plow is for future farms. I totally get that. But it feels a little too excessive when you're just now starting to farm. It's a pretty expensive upgrade eco-wise. And I'm always looking at it and say, hey, how many farms can you add in the next 3 or 4 minutes? I know it's for future farms. I didn't start casting today, believe it or not. But still, heavy plow is usually upgraded when you are planning to go for a super food heavy approach, and this map is not for that. There's manganol micro, there's fireship micro. You're not gonna have 50 farms over here for heavy plow. Like, you're gonna cap out at like 25-30 farms at maximum, right? So as things stand, it's 3 TCs for Mr.Yo, 2 only for Dogao, but Dogao is pushing this TC over here. I could see a guard tower defense coming in for Yo if he wants to, but instead he just goes for the manganols, takes down the repair wheel, and that's a pretty important villager over here. Because, believe it or not, that's the villager that's responsible for making forward buildings or doing any kind of repairs. If Dogao needs repairs now, he needs to pull a new villager, which is something that he's not doing, so now you see this manganol with 3 HP, he's just gonna pull it back, because for now, he knows he can't repair it. It's gonna be a 1-for-1 over here. So, as things stand, there's still a couple of crossbows over here. Dogao hasn't added a single fishing ship, which is a little alarming to me. When you have water control, you want to start adding fishing ships. That's a nice 1-for-0 manganol hit. And considering that Yo has a monastery, I can see him trying to get redemption monks here to convert the manganols or even convert the siege workshop over here. Final cleanup coming in. And when the dust settles, Yo actually has an eco lead over his opponent. Nice little trap over there for the crossbows. And the battering ram should be able to take down that siege workshop without any major problems. So now Yo can focus on water once again, and he will. Still no war galley upgrade from him though. Battering ram now coming in. Yo pops out the manganol. Nice play from Yo here. He's chasing that with a battering ram. Ha ha! Look at this. He's trying to block the manganol with the other manganol and kill it with the battering ram, and that was successful. And the moment he kills that manganol, he's pulling a villager to try and wall this one off. That's not gonna matter because there's a manganol here still denying the walls. The lady is gonna feel very badly after that manganol comes close, but Dogao knows that clock is ticking here. He needs to keep this open. What a manganol hit, and he's pulling 3 more wheels to repair this. Can he save the siege workshop even? Because he's gonna have a manganol here and a manganol here. He might be able to save the workshop. Oh, it's gonna be close. Nope, the workshop goes down, but there is 3 more villagers to make that siege workshop with. Meanwhile, fireship upgrade is in for Mr.Yo. So once again, he's gonna start contesting the water. He's at the 7 villagers advantage right now. He has lost 8 eco so far, only killed 5 from his opponent. Dogao is now on 3 TCs as well. Dogao's resources are looking pretty decent, whereas for Yo, not so much. But then again, Yo doesn't need a lot of resources to go into Imperial, and he's making Knight, that's why. He wants to wait until like 3 or 4 Knights with +1 defense, and that should be enough to deal with like a handful of crossbows and a couple of mangonels, and it would be pretty painful for Dogao to lose those mangonels over here. Oops, that was a nice ground attack as well by Dogao. And I think once we have like 3 Knights, Yo is gonna send it in. He's either sending 2... Oh, nice ground attack as well over here from him. Snipes the mangonel, beautifully done. He's gonna go for the villagers, and he's gonna use the mangonels to try and snipe the crossbowman. Ground attack coming in. Beautiful ground attack by Mr.Yo there. That was absolutely perfect. And now there's a couple more crossbows coming out, but individual crossbows don't do much against knights. And you see that Dogao is sort of trickling them in. This is the time for Yo to make those walls. Even a defensive castle here, so... Looks like Yo just wants to guarantee that there is no push coming to his direction. Meanwhile, he's at the same villager count as Dogao. Dogao is going to click up to Imperial a little faster. He is already at the resources. Yo is not there, but, I mean, he's got a discount, so he should be able to go up as well. And now Dogao is going to start stonewalling himself over here, knowing that there is going to be a counterattack coming in. Mr.Yo, by the way, has picked up 1 relic. There is 1 more over here that could be easily picked up. This one should be Dogao's, and this one as well. So we could have 2 relics apiece. Unless there is 1 over here as well. And there is 1. Now, Dogao is coming in with the stone walls on this side. So if these walls go up, Dogao is going to secure that relic as well. Dogao is going to be the one on 3 relics. The mangonel will deny the walls behind this one. So I think that Yo will be able to get through. Look at what Dogao is doing. He's juking around with the villager, trying to get some repair hits in, while he's getting that second layer going with the rest of the villagers that are being pulled. But now, that gate is very close to going down. The mangonel could also target the gate here, because time is of the essence here for Yo to get through that wall, because Dogao is already making the next layer, and I feel like Dogao might have just enough time to get going with the next layer. Yeah, now Dogao, you see that he's rushing up the walls. Yo immediately turns and shoots the gate. And the mangonel is not derping out. I'm not sure what it's doing. There is still a tile gap here. The knights are not coming in time. Just a little too slow for Mr.Yo. And Dogao is gonna be able to get the wood line over here. A dog coming in for Mr.Yo. In fact, a second dog as well. A castle on the other side would allow Yo to control this choke point here. Meanwhile, there is a crossbowman coming in though, and as things stand, that crossbow could try to pick that villager off and just prevent this castle from going up potentially. So multiple docks here for Yo. Transports are not impossible, transporting the knights through for some raiding. Currently he's got a slight villager advantage over here, as I see just Arbalest being tagged into by Mr.Yo. There is gonna be apparently no fast fires anytime soon. He's not making any more of those. No one really is bothering with adding fishing eco. Dogao's got 3 fishing ships, but that's basically it. And those could also go down to the fire ships of the opponent pretty fast here. Dogao probably gonna pick this relic up though before Yo could do that. So Dogao will be on 3 relics and Yo will only be on 2. Mangonel pops out. Nice strike by Dogao to take down the mangonel of the opponent. This should keep the knights out for a long time. And there is careening. Yo wants to transport stuff, I believe. And he's making cataphracts. He's making cataphracts and he's making petards as well. Oh, Mr.Yo! This could be a masterpiece. The petards should be enough to blast through the walls. Probably a single one would have been sufficient, but 2 guarantees you to go through. The knights will come in and they can snipe the mangonels really easily. Nice ground attack there, by the way, by Dogao. Dogao still has a lot of crossbows here and the knights don't have +2 defense. But 1 mangonel bites the dust, the second one will be repaired, and it's gonna stay up for the time being. More cataphracts are on the way, and it looks like it's not even gonna be ours, it's gonna be elite skirms. Walls are being burned down over here by Mr.Yo to try and open up the left side. Still no monk coming to this relic here. So that is still wide open for anyone to take. And it's gonna be cataphract elite skirm. I wonder if these cataphracts are just here to snipe siege weapons, or Yo actually wants to use them as his primary unit. He's going for fast fire, so he still wants to have water. We will have Arbalest coming in here for Mr. Dogao. Heavy plow. Two-man saw coming in. Now, shipwright. So Yo wants to get water back. He probably just wants to go for skirmisher defense on this side. And he just wants to get water back and then start going for cannon galleons, because this is a narrow choke point here. Cannon galleons would shred castles very, very easily. Same thing here. So you can sort of control the map with cannon galleons and galleons here. That's exactly what we're seeing from our red player. Dogao is going to pick that relic up over here, so he's going to be up to 3. Yo will be stuck on 2. Chemistry on the way for Yo, so there's going to be some bombard cannons as well, but his army feels a little ragtagged. I don't know what he's planning. 2 elite skirms, 4 crossbows, 3 cataphracts, and he's not producing anything. Makes me wonder what exactly he wants to do, army-wise. Currently, it seems like he might just go back on water. At least that could be his plan. Dogao is adding a second layer of stone walls just for safety. So, the gate is gonna get destroyed, but does this matter right now? Probably not. Villagers here from Dogao will get intercepted as well. There is a dry dock even. So he's going really heavy on water. Well, that's basically it so far. Dry dock would also allow him to transport stuff around. I'm starting to feel like he wants to transport. Like, not just one transporter, but actually go, like, big time, transport 20 cataphracts or so into the opponent's base. It's possible that's the plan. There's galleons now coming in. Dogao's gonna try to redock. He's getting careening himself for the extra pierce armor on his fire ships. There is gonna be trebs coming out here from Dogao. For Yo, considering he has the water control, I would say cannon galleons could make some sense here. So far it's fast fire versus fast fire, but obviously Byzantines will like that a lot more. I'm a little surprised on how passive Yo is playing here on land. Like, he made a bunch of ranges, but then he just like, okay, I'm not gonna make any army here, and he's now scrambling for a couple of skirms being produced on that +4 defense on the way. But he's back on water. The question is what exactly he's gonna do on water control, because I feel like he's overextending on water. Look at this. It's so many galleons. What is he going to get from 30 galleons here? That's the question. Because I feel like there's a chance that he's gonna have 30 galleons, and Dogao will just steamroll him with a bunch of arbs and bombard cannons. He's gonna try to go for a bombard cannon defense himself, and there's the cannon galleons. Now that's a better way to utilize your water control if you are Mr.Yo. He's also trying to deny the docks here on the left side and just start to take down these castles with the cannon galleons. Right side, Dogao is pushing more and more forward though. Bombard cannon goes down as well, while the skirmishers are just randomly shooting at a house. So, Japanese bombard cannon? Where? I did not see a single Japanese bombard cannon. Japanese don't have bombard cannons available. So, as things stand, we will have Mr.Yo controlling the water, getting a lead cannon galleon in just now. I don't know where his elite cannon galleon are though. Bombard cannons coming in increasing numbers for Yo. Yo should send a couple of his galleons to this side to control this choke point. There's gonna be onagers coming in for Dogao against the skirmishers and potentially against future halberdiers maybe even, if he starts adding light cavalry. Because Dogao could think about adding light cavalry right now against the skirmishers, even though Japanese light cav isn't amazing, but it's still something sort of. Let's see. That's way too many bombard cannons being lost here. It's way too many bombard cannons. The projectile is fast on all cannon galleons now. It has been changed. It's a good thing you notice that indeed. Like, the projectiles fly faster for cannon galleons now. The Spanish still have a much faster projectile here for the elite cannon galleons, but now the regular cannon galleons for every civilization also fire faster. So, as things stand, what if... Wait a minute! Dogao never finished these wars! Dogao never finished these wars, and Yo is gonna get some sneaky stables in this corner. Now, cannon galleons are slowly taking down that castle, and it looks like the reason why Dogao didn't push forward is because he was controlled and sort of was in a choke point over here that was denied by the galleons. Now the onagers are allowing him to cut through here and start marching up. Yo is gonna need either redemption monks to get those onagers or some bombard cannons himself. Onagers getting some nice hits on those galleons in there, but still, the onagers will slowly go down, and I feel like Dogao just doesn't have the land army. He's at 150 population, and now that the cannon galleons are coming in here, Dogao will just never be able to hit Mr.Yo here anymore, because this army is probably gonna get cleaned up, and at this point the cannon galleons can start shelling the production buildings. Still, free traps are out here, but the light cav is about to pop out for Mr.Yo. I'm not sure if Dogao sees that, but I think he now does. Yes, he does. Right now, we just wait for the +4 defense for Mr.Yo before he jumps on those onagers. It's only one Arbalest, so this army is gonna get cleaned up entirely by the Hussar, and simultaneously he started making Hussar on the left. I think Dogao just realized that his opponent has a sneak over here as well. He actually doesn't see it. Look at this. Look at this dark patch here for Dogao, and that's where free stables, or soon-to-be free stables, are hiding. But yeah, Dogao has lost water control, cannon galleons are taking out his production buildings, and he would just have like 30% map control as opposed to like 70, 80, which means that he will just run out of resources at some point. Despite the fact he has one extra relic over his opponent, he would lose these traps over here, and he would just have no army to fight back against this one. Mr.Yo takes game number 2 as well, moving into match point. He takes the win with Byzantines, and Dogao is gonna lose Japanese right now. So far, it has been a stomp for Mr.Yo. Let's see if Dogao can turn things around here. Because while Dogao played well, I feel like I see more confidence in Mr.Yo. Alright, it looks like they are setting up the next game. It's gonna be Lowland. That's the second home map of Dogao over here. Who did Dogao beat to get to the semifinals? He defeated Doubt in the quarterfinals. And I don't know who he played before that. I'm gonna have to double check. He defeated Winchester 2-1. Then Doubt 2-1 and got into the semifinals. For Mr.Yo, he defeated Vodka first, well, aside from the early rounds, but 2-0 Vodka, 2-1 versus Jordan, and now he's up 2-0 against Dogao here. So both of these players actually eliminated the Gamer Legion member in the tournament so far. And the winner would play against Viper or Vilas in the grand finals tomorrow. The loser plays in the third place game. There's a third place game for this tournament. It's only a best of 3, but I assume that the price is higher for the third place than it is for the fourth place. So that's why we have a third place game over there. Alright, so looks like we don't have a game just yet. They're setting it up right now. I will actually take a half a minute of a break to bring in something to drink. So I'll be back in a moment and we'll jump into the Lowland game once they launch it. All right, so let's see if we have game number 3 over here. It is a decider game. If Mr. Yo wins this, match point for him. Alrighty. So, welcome to Lowland. On the right side, we got the Mr. Yo as Burgundians in red, and to the left, it's gonna be Dogao as Huns in blue. So here's the deal. When it comes to Burgundians, Mr. Yo loves this civilization, and Vivi was the one who pioneered this civ in Holy Cup. So the concept of Burgundians is that you will probably just play sort of a fast castle style game. You might not go directly FC, you might go for a couple of scouts, but you will play defensive. You will get your eco upgrades quite early, and you will go for Custodiers. That's usually what we are seeing. Huns have their tools to fight that, because Huns can just go for Cav Archers, but it's gonna be a little difficult for Dogao to pull this one off over here. Not sure what to expect from Huns on this map, to be honest, because this map is not necessarily about mobility, it's about more like the brute force power of smashing your opponent in the face and securing a forward position in the pit where you have most of the goal at. Speaking of that, this is a horrendous map for Mr. Yo. Look at the gold mine spawns. If you look at all of them, this one or this one is the closest sort of neutral gold in the pit to Mr. Yo. Neither of those are great. Like, he's just missing a patch from here or so. That would be the ideal gold for him, but this one is probably the best he can use, but it's somewhat exposed to Dogao's aggression. In comparison, Dogao's got this gold mine, which is perfectly fine for him for now. In fact, he even has this one, but he cannot TC this because of the elevation. So, for now, Dogao is going to be pushing there. He's got his starting gold at the back, and his other starting gold is also at the back. That's a beautiful map for Dogao. And on the other side, we have a nice gold here for Yo, and a pretty underwhelming one over here as well. So, in terms of stone, that's the bigger question for Yo. He's got a stone mine over here, and a stone mine over here. Neither of those are safe, so I would say you probably still go for this one, and just wall in front. That's your best bet. If you're Yo. I'm gonna check if you're actually behind a couple of seconds, because I may have not jumped into the game right when they started, but it's Dark Age, so it doesn't really matter. Dogao says 2 lag. This is something he warned the organizers as well, and looks like they might do a save and restore. It actually helps to have a spectator chat, because we know what's going on. So Dogao himself said when talking to the admins of the event that he's also having internet issues as of the last couple of days, so he might need to pause sometimes and wait for his internet to stabilize. Nonetheless, for now it looks like they're continuing, but if the lag persists, they will actually go for a save and restore. Double Bidax is already in for our Burgundian player, and on the other side, it looks like we're in for what will be a save and restore now, I think. There is going to be militias coming out for Dogao. This is a little too early for men-at-arms, so I'm tempted to say that this is just going to be a Drush Fast Castle from him. Potentially Drush Fast Castle straight into Cav Archers is the name of the game, but I'm fairly certain that we're going to see a save and restore right now with this. So, what's up? Like, as long as they're paused, we can see the spec chat, I believe. So, we don't know what exactly are they talking about. They might just have paused to see if it fixes itself, or potentially we're gonna have a save and restore. Yep. Save game right. Just quit, not resign. Okay, so we will have a save and restore right here, because apparently they have a server lag. It just happens. Shouldn't really be a big deal for them. So we will have a quick restore to jump into the game. So I feel like a Drush Fast Castle Cav Archer play can work nicely. for Hans here, because the only thing that really they can do against the Custolier player of Burgundians is probably Cav Archers. So I feel like Foot Archer is not something that you want to go for because those easily get overrun by early Custoliers if you don't have a huge group of them. Maybe Pikeman, but I don't think that's a reasonable opening. So I feel like Drush into Cav Archer seems to make the most sense. Okay, no restore just yet. Oh, okay. So we had a little bit of a scare over here. So Mr.Yo said Dogao should host it, and then Dogao is like, oh, I don't have the file. And Yo said, thank God I saved one as well. Both of them saved the file just in case. Like they were talking about it, save just in case. And looks like for whatever definitive edition reason, Dogao doesn't have the save game file. So Yo is gonna have to host here. We're lucky that we didn't lose that save game file. Um, Dogao is saying maybe it's just my internet being bad. I think like I said this before that Dogao said he has some internet issues this week. So that's the thing. All right, they should have the game up in a matter of moments. So hold on while we're getting closer to what could be the conclusion of this set or what could be a start of a comeback. All right. No game up just yet. The semifinals are today, as you are seeing it, and the grand finals and the third place game will be tomorrow on Sunday. Everything will also be uploaded to YouTube, so in case you missed any of the sets, make sure you check out on YouTube. Some of the quarterfinals have already been uploaded, and there is gonna be the other quarterfinals coming in aside the semifinals and the grand finals as well. So looks like there is no game just yet, but we might have one in the next couple of moments. This is the issue with these save and restores. It takes some time to get them going. Game, please. Looks like we still don't have a game. And there's a lobby ID. I'm just gonna use that. Let's hope that it finds the game. Okay, it finds the game, so we're good. We are good. We have a 1.5 minute spectator countdown, so that is what we're waiting for right now. But anyways, we just need to wait 1.5 minutes and continue. So there was a drush from Dogao. The drush shouldn't do that much of a damage because you can pretty easily wall yourself back at home. And I think you already started doing that. On the other hand, the drush is a signal that Dogao wants to go for a drush fast castle into Cav Archers, and that's something that Burgundians might struggle against. It depends on how many Cav Archers Dogao is able to pump out before the Custodiers arrive. That's basically the concept over here. These sets, by the way, are super strong today, or super long, excuse me. Like, I've been sitting here for 6 hours, and this is only the second best of 5 I'm casting. It's brutal. Today is super long. I didn't expect it to be this long and this intense, I'm not gonna lie, but, well, it's good for you viewers, right? Because we're seeing a lot of super fun games. So far, this set has under-delivered in terms of... I'm not saying competitive environment, because the games were competitive, it was just the fact that Yo is up 2-0 in a pretty convincing fashion. Alright, the spec countdown is over, so it's time for game number 3 over here. So, welcome back everybody. As I said, there is a barracks for what is a drush here from Dogao. He's popping those guys out right now. Vo's already coming up for Mr.Yo. It's gonna be a little difficult to finish these walls in time, and there is still opening on the right side, but you see, Dogao is actually gonna take 2 hits on his scout from that villager out there. Walls are slowly being finished over here, and oh boy, will the militias be able to do anything here? That's the question. Because right now Dogao is trying to block as many wall foundations as he can. The militias are getting close, but that scout shouldn't really be capable of blocking everything here. The villagers are idle, however. There's still a single tile, and the militias do get in. Mr.Yo try to go for the contingency walls over here with the gate. Militias now eating a lot of damage. It looks like Dogao has to disengage here, because Yo, despite the fact that he wasn't able to finish the walls, he is gonna be able to contain the damage here. He shouldn't finish that gate. In fact, he should finish the walls over here. And yeah, like, he could have deleted that gate a little earlier. Now that he finished it, there was no point deleting it. Anyways, there is still a chance to hit the right side over here, and looks like Yo is not really putting in a lot of effort into walling this. Looks like the walls are now coming up. And wait a minute. Wait a minute, does Yo know about that hole? He does. Here he comes with the house. Here he comes with the house. Once again, just a split second too late. But Dogao didn't notice, so he didn't just block the house foundation. And when the dust settles, it's gonna be the scout inside and the militias outside. Probably the best possible scenario for Mr.Yo over here. Because now the scout will not be able to do anything, and the militias will stick on the outside. Now, here's the deal. If we get to feudal age, that scout can still harass the villagers and try to just allow the militias to get in, but Yo is just gonna send in his own scout to clean this up, knowing that there's no elevation here. There's no way Dogao can win this fight with his scout. There's absolutely no way. Gold being mined by Mr.Yo here, and he's sending villagers to stone. It's gonna be a Custelier play from him. As I said, Vivi really popularized Custeliers here in the competitive Age of Empires scene with Holy Cup, and Yo is the one in particular that loves to use them now as well. Now, I would like to highlight the little fact that Dogao is going for a Droshfast castle without a single wall. So, Dogao is so confident in the fact that Mr.Yo is going for a fast castle that he did not make a single wall so far. This is extremely risky, by the way. Like, if Yo went for something different than a fast castle, Dogao would be dead by now. Dogao is gonna start making the walls himself. He's probably gonna have his ranges on the front, and that's gonna be quite a lot of villagers' time spent on walling yourself up. Meanwhile, for Mr.Yo, his food count isn't looking amazing for Castle Age over here, and he's a little low on stone as well. He's probably gonna age up with the Market Blacksmith. That's what you do when you do Custeliers. Market placed over here, and Blacksmith maybe some round over here or here. Could make some sense. He's got Double Bit Accent Horse Color in for himself though, and for Dogao, not a single eco upgrade. So both of them should be able to go up to Castle Age, but I think it's gonna require some market usage by Mr.Yo. There is the market, there is the blacksmith, and he might actually just sell some stone to go up, and then just send a couple more villagers from the berries onto stone so that he can actually maintain the sufficient level of stone mining for a castle and then Custeliers. Meanwhile, Dogao is gonna be fully walled over here as the blacksmith is coming up. The other building is probably gonna be a range, and he will add more ranges as he's going up. Speaking of that, he can't afford the range here, by the way. So that's gonna delay his castle age a little bit. You see the blacksmith is coming in, and it's a stable. Ooh, that's gonna be ugly. I don't like the stable. The stable could still mean that he just wants to go for ranges later. And for now, he just grabs that because he's gonna need husbandry anyways. And husbandry is gonna be crucial for cav archers for, you know, avoiding any kind of contact with the Custeliers. But I kind of feel like if this stable was just here for knights, that's very, very underwhelming for Dogao because he's gonna die to Custeliers. And a scary thing here for him is that he's hiding this. And to me, like, if you made this stable just for the upgrades, you would probably put it on the front. Because you want your opponent to see it and maybe think that you're going knights. The fact that you are, you know, not even trying to not even putting it out here and conceding it makes me feel like you're going knights, and that's the case. Double stable knights here for the Gao, but knights die so badly to Custeliers. Custeliers can dive in, do the charge damage, and just dive out after it. Oh, this could be very, very troublesome for the Gao. I mean, once the charge damage has been depleted from the Custeliers, obviously the knights beat them. But the way that you use the Custeliers is that you charge in, damage the opponent's knights, and then dive out. You are going to have faster working stables for Huns over here, and maybe Dogao thinks that his opponent is going to consider him a cavalry archer threat, not a knight's threat. But reality is that Custeliers will just beat knights here for Mr.Yo, and you see that Yo is gonna have just enough stone for a castle. The question is he gonna castle drop or so? Nope, it's just gonna be a castle here. Like, these militias are pretty important for the Gao. If they weren't here, technically Yo could move up and castle drop over here. Anyways, because the castle is still under construction, and now that Dogao is up to castle age, he can start making knights. He's got the faster production speed on his stables. That helps immensely, because he needs numbers now. Because one of the things that's gonna bottleneck you with Custeliers is that you only have one castle to produce them on. That being said, I feel like this is still a dangerous scenario for Dogao to be in. As a second TC is coming in for Yo, 2 additional TCs for Dogao. So Dogao is gonna go for a massive boom over here, just adding a handful of knights. I feel like Mr.Yo will probably have to play some with Custeliers, but still keep adding villagers on stone. Like, get stone mining over here. Because the thing is, as it looks like he's instead moving to the middle, securing an additional gold mine for himself all the way in the middle. Look at this. This is a horrible TC spot for Yo. But it's not like he has a choice, right? The additional gold mines are just so badly positioned, and oh, this could be a disaster for him. He's running straight into the knights. He's running straight into the knights. Oh my goodness. Just passing. Just passing. The knights don't have a great line of sight, and it looks like Dogao is not gonna get the opportunity to kill 6 villagers here. If there was a scout in this group for Dogao, he would have seen the villagers, and that's -6 over there. And now, Yo is getting the Custeliers out. Since Dogao is not making any more units, I think this is getting scary for Dogao. He doesn't have a single upgrade on those knights. Quick walls coming in for Yo to prevent the knights from running in. Very nicely done. 1 or 2 villagers might buy the dust, but you see, Yo wants to keep mining stone here. And he just wants to push for the Custeliers. I am fairly certain he wants to castle drop Dogao after this. And Dogao's got some long walls, so protecting those is gonna be really difficult over there. What are the Custeliers up to? They're coming in, and they will charge into those knights. A stable is gonna come in. That's gonna be for husbandry only for Yo. Look at this. It's ridiculous how good Custeliers can be if you have a good blob of them. The charge attack is ridiculous. Anyways, 3 TCs for both players. Currently, Dogao has a 4 villagers lead in this one, as a stable is coming in for husbandry. Dogao is playing way too greedy here, I feel like. Double stables, but that's it. He's got 1 monastery worth of monk production, but at this pace, those Custeliers will be in so big numbers that they can start knocking on those walls. And it's not like Dogao is pulling ahead economically either, so it's not like, okay, Yo is going for a super aggressive game plan and, oh, He charged in. Did you see that? He charged in. It looks like 2 Custoliers get converted. That wasn't ideal by any means for Yo. What he wanted to do is just charge into the Knights, deal the charge damage, and then disengage, but he went overly greedy and he loses 2 Custoliers to conversion. So what I wanted to say is that it's one thing that Yo or Dogao is booming on free TCs, but he can't really pull ahead compared to Mr.Yo because Yo is also on free TCs. And I feel like at some point Dogao is gonna have to start moving down hills. He's already consuming the final bits of gold left over here. He's mining stone as well. So I feel like at this pace, Yo should just start adding a couple more villagers on stone and solidify control over the middle area with a castle. That would be pretty nice from him. Looks like Dogao is coming out for the relics for the time being, something that you want to deny from Burgundians because Burgundians would get some extra food income from those as well. It looks like finally Dogao bumps into this TC. Another TC is attempted here by Yo, just so that he has another gold mine to work with. Some more Custoliers in the party. As I said, it's all about maintaining some military presence behind the boom. As Custoliers charge in, once everybody depleted their charge, they will just disengage, and there is going to be a new batch of Custoliers coming in. This is what is really difficult to deal with for Dogao. That his opponent can just go hit and run gameplay here, because like he doesn't need to fight. He just needs to charge in and then wait for the charge to just fill up again. 4 TC coming in here for Mr.Yo. Dogao should start switching into Cav Archers, I feel like. Burgundians will struggle badly against Cav Archers, but it looks like Dogao is just going to go triple stable Knights. Remember, Dogao is on a bit of a timer here, as we're seeing Husbandry coming in for Yo. Once he's got Husbandry, he can charge in on the Monks, and because of the charge attack, you can one-shot Monks that don't have Sanctity. So, you can just dive in, snipe the Monks, and then take the fight. Looks like Yo is not committing a lot to the Custolier production either, as we are seeing villagers being sent out for stone. Even villager count between the 2 players. But there is a 4 TC for Yo, and the bigger deal is that, you know, Yo is on 4 TCs, and that we don't have a forward position here for Dogao. This is what I was talking about, the charge attack of the Custoliers. In the end, this Custolier wasn't able to deplete its charge attack, but it's 3 monks for a single Custolier. That was a very, very nice fight for Mr.Yo. Charge once again, coming into its best effect. And you gotta wonder if this is enough for Dogao to secure that forward position. There's a monk coming in as well, and the villagers are already getting slaughtered in here. If Yo kept making Custoliers, he would be clapping Dogao back here already. In fact, he's already pushing Dogao back quite relentlessly. Custoliers are out of charge now, but at this point, I feel like the problem for Dogao is that he is just losing map control way too fast. The Custoliers once again trying to dive in. One gets converted, there's a knight to replace it here for Mr.Yo. Mr. is now constantly producing Custoliers, but I think if he just went a little less greedy on the eco and went for a couple more Custoliers before, he could have easily stopped this TC. Still, I mean, Dogao is starving for gold soon. He has yet to deplete this gold mine, but it's very close to do that, as we are gonna have some more Custoliers coming in, and I think what Yo will want to do now that he's getting scale barding is probably a castle drop here. He's mining stone, as look at that, the monk actually dropped the relic and jumped into the TC for some additional protection. The stone miners here are very open, and that's not something that Yo seems to really be bothered about. Custoliers charging in and then charging out. It looks like Yo just wants to snipe that lone Custolier over there. And crop rotation 2-man saw for Mr.Yo. Looks like a castle will be made over here by Dogao. Can Yo stop this? Can Yo stop this? That's the question. He sees the castle foundation. He has a decent army over here, but he's just stopping to produce Custoliers. And I feel like the only reason why Yo is not winning this game in a decisive fashion is because Yo is just playing too greedy on the eco. There is gonna be a castle coming in as well over here. And as I said, if Yo just made a couple more Custoliers, he could have easily stopped this castle as well. This is going to be a crucial castle coming up, by the way, for Dogao, because it protects the gold mine in here. A couple of villagers will actually go down to this one. Nope, there's not a single villager that went down. So the last couple of minutes was absolute disaster for Yo. So I don't think he deserves winning this game, to be honest, because he has had such a big opportunity from Dogao's weird strategy choice. Yet he didn't really exploit this weakness from Dogao by actually constantly adding Custeliers and just forcing Dogao off from the middle. So, I mean, I understand he's booming on 4 TCs, but he could have just gone for consistent Custelier production. He would have had like 10 more, and that denies that TC, but even if it doesn't, it secures you this position to get a castle. And now I feel like we are seeing a pikeman switch, which is very, very desperate for Burgundians here. Dogao is going into Imperial, and I feel like this is the moment where Cav Archers will become a thing. They have to become a thing here now for Dogao. He sees the pikeman, he's gotta go for it, and this is where Burgundians will struggle really badly against Hans from now on. So I feel like Yo has played this one too greedy, and he's gonna pay the price for it, because the moment Dogao sees those pikemen, there is gonna be a Cav Archer switch. And what's even bigger is that Yo is not going into Imperial either. And like the biggest threat to Hans here is Custeliers. They can't really do much against that if they don't have Cav Archers. And now it's just pure pikemen on a map that requires quite a lot of mobility. I really dislike the way that Yo played this. Way too greedy in my perspective. Looks like there is a knight beating up these villagers on the stone as well. Yo is actually fighting back, and he's just gonna keep mining stone, but Dogao sends him 3 knights, so there's gonna be quite a lot of villagers dead as well. Some more Custeliers. I think if Yo doesn't start making army consistently, he's gonna lose the game, and correct me if I'm wrong, but he did this in the first game as well, and I just don't like this style. I really dislike it. It's like, okay, I'm gonna boom, but not making any army. And it's frustrating to watch that he desperately needs army here. He could easily be massing Custeliers. Okay, it looks like he's gonna try going for Paladins, but that's not something that you want. You still want to go full Custelier. If he had like 25 Custeliers here, he would annihilate this army. Like, Dogao was barely holding this against a handful of Custeliers. It's just Yo not making army, and it's frustrating. Now he's gonna have to abandon the gold mines. I don't know, I'm really frustrated on how Yo is playing this. Because, well, what should I say? Making no army is not the way that competitive Age of Empires should go. And who would have thought? Han switching into Cav Archers. That's like Dogao. This game is won by Dogao. And I gotta say that the game plan for Dogao was a very underwhelming one, going knights against Custeliers. It's a miracle he survived. It's just because Yo went way too greedy, but Yo's idea here to just go 4 TC boom without any army is a 0 out of 10 strategy. Like, I don't even understand. Like, Yo should not win this under any circumstance. Yeah, Yo has a lot of carpotation farms, I understand that, but I mean, he's going for Paladin. He's gonna lose this castle. He barely has access, like safe access to gold. And there is gonna be a huge amount of Cav Archers coming in soon. There is only one chance for Yo, and that is that Dogao doesn't have a lot of gold. That's the only chance here for Mr.Yo. It's a very, very slim chance, by the way. That's the only chance he has. That Dogao could still be starved out of gold. Paladin coming in here for Yo. He's got 2 relics supposed to free. 25 on gold. He's got a lot of farms, but the castle went down in the middle, meaning that this is now open for raiding by the Cav Archers. How do you even stop the Cav Archers here with Burgundians? Smarodzi, thank you so much for the Prime sub. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. So Paladin is almost in, but it's for 7 Cavalier. Like, Yo is just not in a possession of an army right now. And he's very far from getting any kind of army going. Dogao also is missing a lot of upgrades on those Cav Archers, but you see he's shelling castles here. And as I said, if Dogao secures control over the middle part of the map and Yo is not denying the gold from him, then it's not gonna work. Look at this nice move from Dogao. He's blocking the Paladin with the Cav Archer, 4 traps in the castle, This castle must stand for Yo to have a chance, I think. But it's not gonna stand. The trebs will go down, which buys some time for Yo maybe. And Yo could try taking these castles down. Honey castles are pretty fragile. So maybe there's a chance. The key thing here is that you have to use your paladins as individual raiding units, or individual groups of raiding units, because the cav archers need to be kept together to be efficient. And because of that, you just need to raid with the paladins over here. One castle is under fire over here. Yo needs a lot more traps to take this down. He needs to take down these two castles, and then start raiding those gold miners. There's already a halberdier switch in preparation by Dogao. Yo is gonna get raided here on the north, as I see infantry armor being teched into. What's up with that? Maybe Flamrev, like, before Yo goes down, he's gonna pull the trigger on Flamrev. It's not gonna work, but before he GG's out of this one, he's definitely gonna try a Flemish Revolution. Now, if these two castles go down over here, things could heat up a little bit for Dogao. Dogao's got pretty decent upgrades on those cav archers, but not perfect. You see, he's missing a lot of armor upgrades on them. And as I said, the paladins are coming in to raid pretty heavily here. Halberdier switch is now in for Dogao. Not a huge amount of halberdiers though, and they are lacking some critical upgrades still. Cav archers will now try to potentially dive in and snipe the traps here. Paladins killing the villagers would allow the traps to finish these castles over here. Pikemen also joining the party. First castle goes down for Dogao, and one thing that Dogao will soon not have is gold. This is what I was talking about. The only win condition here for Yo is if he's somehow able to starve Dogao out of gold, and that's exactly what we're seeing over here. The paladins coming into raid, trying to starve out Dogao from gold. Still, Yo should have, like, if you just look at the unit composition, I feel like Dogao should have this. It's gonna come down to map control though, by Mr.Yo. How long can he keep up the pressure with the paladins? Dogao just needs a couple more halberdiers to fight this, and then I don't know what Yo could do. Yo is getting the university up, makes me wonder if we're going to see chemistry from him for hand cannoneers, as Yo is selling a lot of wood as well for gold. TC is being targeted though. I think it would be wiser to target the barracks, to be honest, because you want to limit Dogao's halberdier production. Dogao's got 5 barracks here. You take the barracks down, Dogao can't make halberdier. Dogao can't make halberdier, you buy some time, and he pushed the button. The revolution. And the thing is that this might work, because Dogao is losing all his army here. Now, if those cav archers are still alive, they will tear apart the Flemish militia. However, if there is something that can destroy those cav archers, this could still work. As I said, Dogao should have this game as long as he keeps the cav archers alive, because Burgundians just can't do anything against cav archers. Mr.Yo has 5 TCs, so he can rebuild his eco slow and steady, and that's actually a lot of militias. Is this gonna work out? Like, he's got traps, and the traps can take down the buildings, but as long as those cav archers are alive, they can just pick apart the militia. Still, you see, Dogao is stonewalling and Dogao is calling it! Oh my goodness! I don't believe this! This is such a crazy game, and I honestly feel like Yo should have never won this game. The thing is that the cav archers can tear apart the Flemish militia, and Dogao was trying to stonewall himself. The problem that Dogao is facing right now is that his eco will be overrun by militias. And yes, Yo will be at like 30 villagers in 1 or 2 minutes. But Dogao as well. Like, Dogao needs to keep these cav archers right here. And you see paladins are racking his eco. And if you just look at his economy right now, how does this look like to you? They're just gonna overrun the eco of Dogao over here. Yeah, if he had like 20 more cav archers, I think he can actually stop this. But yeah, there is enough traps to destroy the production buildings over here. And yeah, I feel like Yo has enough momentum here. Oh, what a set. What a set, it's crazy. It's a 3-0 for Mr.Yo. And I really dislike the way he has played game number 1 and 3, just way too greedy in my perception. But we can't deny that he played this one very efficiently, and that is a GG. A game and a set won by Mr.Yo.